It's already early Saturday morning back on the East Coast, but it is still Aloha Friday here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and what a beautiful Aloha Friday it has been. Some of the fun in the sun, some of the island activities, giving way, though, to some college basketball. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's, and inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, it's going to be a good one. Number 10 North Carolina coming into the house at 2-1 to take on the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii, off to a 4-0 start this season. Aloha, everybody. Next to Corey Alexander, I'm Kanoa Leahy. And Corey, North Carolina making a quick stop over here in Honolulu before heading to Maui for the Maui Invitational starting on Monday. And they come in here with maybe the deepest and speediest stable of guards in all of college basketball.
Absolutely. A game that was contracted 8 years ago finally taking place here tonight, and the opportunity for the Tar Heels to get acclimated to the islands. And they bring a trio of guards, all averaging over 15.7 points per game, but each has its own individual talent. Seth Trimble is the defender. Elliot Cadeau is the maestro with passing the basketball. And, of course, R.J. Davis, the reigning ACC Player of the Year, gets buckets.
R.J. Davis moving up the charts in the all-time scoring category for North Carolina. 5 points away from passing Sam Perkins for fourth on the all-time North Carolina list. Hawaii will counter the backcourt play of North Carolina with a beast in the post. Tanner Christensen off to a great start this season.
And Tanner Christensen is going to have a huge performance against the front court of North Carolina if the Rainbow Warriors want to have an opportunity to pull off their first top 10 victory since 2005, when they were able to get a win here. Well, what's actually in this building? It was still here in Honolulu, but not the Stan Sheriff Center, correct?
No, it was in this building.
It was in this building.
Yeah.
The building was brand new then.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to all of that good stuff. This is the 6th overall meeting. First since the aforementioned 2016 meeting. North Carolina has won all 5 games, 4-0 in Honolulu. R.J. Davis, we mentioned, climbing the charts, 2,141 career points. He is, quite frankly, Corey, one of the best in the business.
He absolutely is one of the best players in college basketball, coming back for a 5th season and an opportunity to become the all-time leading scorer at the University of North Carolina.
And do not adjust your television sets or your device screens. Those are the brand new special edition Aloha Print retro uniforms being worn here by the University of Hawaii. The first time they have busted these bad boys out.
I like it. I believe it goes back to 1972. Is that the timing where the Rainbow Warriors were wearing this uniform?
They were wearing sort of an earlier rendition of it. This definitely harkens back to that. And yeah, I think they're pretty fly. And it is Hawaii that will control here off the jump. Tom Beattie, the second leading scorer for Hawaii, wearing number 2. Now with the ball, and they're looking into the post here at Tanner Christensen. And that one gets deflected out of bounds.
And the compliment for Beattie is he draws the assignment of Seth Trimble. Seth Trimble normally takes on the best offensive player on the perimeter for the opposing team. So Tom Beattie getting that assignment here tonight, which means that he will have his hands full here this evening.
10 seconds to shoot here on this opening possession for the Rainbow Warriors, and Beattie lets a 3 fly. Offensive rebound for Tanner Christensen. The reset, and it is Harry Ruliadef who tries a 3, but off the mark and into the hands of Jalen Withers. Withers and Jalen Washington, the 2 Jalens who accompany those fantastic 3 guards here in this starting lineup for North Carolina. And there is Withers behind the defense, blows the bunny. And we're still scoreless a minute in. And we welcome those who are watching Duke and Arizona to Honolulu, Hawaii. Kanoa Leahy along with Corey Alexander. Number 10, North Carolina, taking on Hawaii. Tar Heels coming in 2-1. The Rainbow Warriors off to a 4-0 start. North Carolina, little stopover here in Honolulu before heading to Maui for the Maui Invitational, which gets going on Monday. Still scoreless, a little over a minute in.
And North Carolina comes in averaging 95.3 points per game, so they don't go many minute-and-a-half sessions without scoring points.
Hawaii taking this shot clock way down. Ryan Rapp, that three off the mark. Last touched out of bounds, and it'll belong to the Tar Heels.
But right now, early in this game, Hawaii giving North Carolina a hard time on the offensive glass. Another opportunity there. Rapp just unable to bring it in.
Starting five for North Carolina, led by R.J. Davis, the consensus first-team All-American last year. But a three-guard lineup, and you would put these three guards up against just about any group when it comes to their activity and speed. Missing from in front of the rim is Jalen Washington. And can you believe it, almost 2 minutes in, Corey, we still have no point.
Yeah, not with these two teams. Hawaii averages over 81 points per game, so both these teams come in scoring at a very high clip.
Tanner Christensen is the big body in the middle for Hawaii. 6'10", grad transfer, averaging 17 points a game. And that's a miss from around the rim. Seth Trimble off the mark. Tom Beatty, second leading scorer, gets it up to Christensen. Little show and go. Went for the jam, but he got blocked by Trimble.
Well, one of the things you're going to see, Seth Trimble, if you haven't watched him, one of the best athletes in the country. He's showing that with his shot blocking ability as well.
Here's R.J. Davis, and that's a good sign for North Carolina. He's gotten off to a bit of a slow start from the shooting perspective outside the arc.
Yeah, coming in only 5 of 25 from beyond the arc at 20%, but knocks down his first attempt here. And again, Coach Eran Ganot told us, of course, he's going to wait for the night to get hot against us.
He was asking, could he just go cold for one more night, one more game? But he knocks down his first attempt. Beatty on the drive, hangs in the air. That one trickles off. Christensen, the follow. I'm not sure if you count it as a dunk, but it is a putback, and Hawaii on the board.
Yeah, regardless of whether it's a dunk or not, it still counts for 2 points, the first two for the Rainbow Warriors.
Elliot Cadeau quickly the other way. These guys get up the floor in a hurry.
That's the thing with North Carolina. They run after makes and misses. You have to be able to get your transition defense back, regardless of whether you score or not.
And that's going to be a blocking foul. It's going to go against Elliot Cadeau. 5-2 early lead here for North Carolina. Hubert Davis, fourth season, already accumulating 80 wins. ACC Coach of the Year last year. And look at the offensive production here in this very young 2024-25 campaign.
Yeah, North Carolina 5th in Division I at 95.3 points per game, but now opening up only one of 2 Power 4 conferences plus the Big East to open up playing 2 of their first 4 games on the road. So Hubert Davis challenging his team early.
Yeah, North Carolina and Cal, the only 2 in that category to do such a thing. Here is Beatty, the turnaround, hit glass first, got tipped up around the rim, and finally corralled here by R.J. Davis, always looking to push. Ian Jackson, fantastic freshman on the floor now, drives the lane, draws the contact, and boy, is he a load to reckon with. 6'4" freshman, 5-star McDonald's All-American coming out of our Xavier Lutheran High School in the Bronx.
And if you don't know Ian, you refer to him as Cap, a.k.a. Captain Jack, and comes in getting to it early. You see aggressive, subbing in for Elliot Cadeau, who picked up his first foul, and Ian Jackson wasting no time attacking the rim, getting to the free throw line.
And foul goes against Harry Ruliadev for Hawaii. And Jackson able to get that first free throw. He's now 3 for 3 from the charity stripe on the season. North Carolina 2-1. The lone loss was at Allen Fieldhouse on the 8th of November. A 3-point loss, 92-89. Against number 1 Kansas, a game that saw North Carolina trail by as many as 20 in the first half, but they came roaring back.
And they did it with their defense, and you see Ian Jackson picking up 94 feet. When he and Drake Powell come into the game, they can add some pressure defensively.
So ball out of bounds, that gets us to our first timeout. Low scoring affair through 4+. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. The great Tom Henderson, considered the greatest player in the history of University of Hawaii basketball. And how about those unis? Of course, the retros being donned by the Rainbow Warriors tonight, certainly paying homage to those early to mid 1970s unis.
Yes, they absolutely are. And again, this rendition a little more muted than actually the ones in 1972. The one Tom Henderson had on was pretty vibrant. And to say that this is muted is saying a lot.
That's right, that's saying a lot. Muted is carrying a heavy load there in that statement. Good look there at Eran Ganot in his 10th year. Hawaii with 6 NCAA tournament appearances in its history, won the first NCAA tournament game in program history against Cal back in 2016. That was the first year of Eran Ganot.
Eran Ganot thinking back to that 2016 game here, playing against North Carolina, when this game was actually contracted. Afterwards, Roy Williams walked up to him and told him, hey, you guys outplayed us. We didn't deserve to win this game tonight. Let's do it again in 2020.
Roy Williams, who is in the house here this evening. Under 10 to shoot, and Gytis Namiksha hoisting it up with about 6 seconds left on the clock.
I believe he got fooled by his own crowd on that when he heard the countdown.
As Davis, a little bounce pass, tried to thread the needle there to Van Allen Lubin, but it stays here in this direction. And there is the legendary Roy Williams.
Wife Wanda beside Roy. And as Roy gives away.
It's a friendly crowd here as they have come out in droves to see Carolina in person, and a nice jumper off of the inbound. Seth Trimble, what a jump he has made from last year to this year so far, Corey.
And speaking of jump, his vertical leap is outrageous. So when you think about jumping, Seth Trimble absolutely right in the mix. And he has made a huge jump from a year ago where he was really more of just a defender. Now averaging 15.7 points per game. You see him coming off and confidently shooting the basketball from the perimeter. In an exhibition game versus Memphis, actually had 33 points when R.J. Davis did not play, and you see his numbers tripling his average from a season ago. But the three-point shooting has been the biggest difference in Seth Trimble's game, but still an elite defender.
Ian Jackson picking up that last foul. North Carolina on a 6-0 run, and Hawaii looking a little discombobulated here after some of the subs have come in.
And this is what Eran Ganot told us earlier today. The one thing they cannot do is turn this basketball over against North Carolina. Carolina's going to get more than their fair share of possessions when it comes to offensive rebounds and getting out in transition. You can't afford to give them extra opportunities.
Yeah, both teams pretty good protecting the basketball so far this year, averaging 9 or fewer turnovers per game as Tanner Christensen spanks that one out of bounds.
Christensen doing a great job anticipating. Cap going with the inside hand, trying to lay it up under his arm. Comes up with the block shot.
Christensen playing for his 3rd college program. Got started at Idaho for a couple of years, played a couple of seasons at Utah Tech before matriculating here to the University of Hawaii. Rainbow Warriors the other way. Gytis Namiksha, transfer from Xavier. Christensen drawing a crowd. They swing it around. Here is Namiksha. 3 off the mark. And the rebound gathered by Drake Powell. Another fantastic frosh. And he tears to the hoop and draws the whistle.
So what is it that you see that Drake Powell and Ian Jackson both have in common? As soon as they step in the game, they are full go, getting to the rim. Both guys with opportunities at the free throw line on the first possessions there on offense.
And that's a foul on Tanner Christensen. And the way he is playing, and as pivotal as Christensen has been to Hawaii's cause here this year, they can ill afford to see him pile up fouls. But another look at Drake Powell, yet another McDonald's All-American, cousins with head coach Hubert Davis.
And of course his dream school to be able to play at the University of North Carolina, turning that dream into a reality. And I can tell you right now, he's on a lot of draft boards. Spent some time with Drake over the summer at the CP3/Jason Tatum elite camp in Las Vegas. And when I tell you he had a day that had all the NBA scouts buzzing.
And he grew up about 30 minutes from Chapel Hill. And so the dream has become a reality. Hawaii scoreless now for almost 3 minutes time. North Carolina on an 8-0 run. Here's Akira Jacobs, who hails from Yokohama, Japan. Played for Team Japan in the Paris Olympics this past summer. And another turnover here, snatched away by Ian Jackson. Ahead, and Davis with the reverse. Wow.
Once again, that's the pick six that Eran Ganot was talking about. Turning the basketball over and allowing North Carolina to be able to get out into transition, turning defense into offense. The Tar Heels with an 11-point lead, 13:40 remaining in the first.
Well, here is that takeaway that led to the R.J. Davis bucket, and a significant one, a milestone, if you will.
It absolutely was. R.J. Davis with the reverse layup ties Sam Perkins. Was he passed? He actually passes Sam Perkins for 4th all-time. That's right, he made a 3 earlier on his first one. So now R.J., of course, is the second leading scoring guard in the history of North Carolina behind Phil Ford, and needed 784 points coming into the season, the exact number of points he scored last year to be able to pass Psycho T, a.k.a. Tyler Hansbrough, for not only the North Carolina lead, but the ACC's leading scorer.
And there is Akira Jacobs. Did not play in Hawaii's last game against Weber State due to a foot injury, but he knocks down the 3, and that ends a 10-0 Carolina run. But right back to work goes Ian Jackson. He is so frenetic up and down the court.
But Akira Jacobs knocking down that 3. Now, this is a game where he has to have a big game, and you want to know why? Because Tom Henderson wore these same uniforms, and they're the only 2 Rainbow Warriors to ever play in the Olympics. So when you start thinking about these uniforms that Tom Henderson wore, who played in the Olympics, Akira Jacobs absolutely has to have a big performance tonight.
Akira Jacobs, one of just 2 current college basketball players who played in these past summer games. There you see on the court guarding the Joker. He was going up against some of the best ballers in the world. What an experience. But of course the other player, he was on ESPN2 earlier this evening. Duke's Kaman Maluach from South Sudan, representing in the Olympics as well. This is Marcus Green. That 3 a little long. And collecting the rebound is Jerome Palm. Jacobs again. Got it!
Jacobs has had an immediate impact off the bench. Coming in, knocking down 2 threes already. Has 6 of the 8 points for the Rainbow Warriors.
R.J. Davis shovels it, and it's thrown down by Van Allen Lubin.
Hubert Davis is liking the production he's getting from Van Allen Lubin coming in as the backup 5-man. Now in his 3rd school in 3 years, but found a home so far at Chapel Hill.
Yeah, as that 3 from Cody Williams is off the mark. Yeah, you got a couple of former Vandy guys who were meeting up there. Notre Dame and Vanderbilt for Van Allen Lubin.
And Van Allen Lubin catching here, fumbles it, but gathers it in a quick jump to be able to finish it off for 2. I think RJ should still get an assist for that, right?
It got there. This is Cade Tyson, transfer from Belmont. Gives them some good veteran presence here on the floor as R.J. Davis draws the whistle, and that'll get us to a timeout. North Carolina with the 17-8 lead here over the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii. And hey, look, not too bad the weather, right? November 22nd. Glad you made it back. Well, flashback to December 30th, 1997, when the Rainbow Warriors scored their biggest upset in program history. You had Anthony Carter and Alika Smith, who were putting on a show against number 3 Kansas, and Hawaii would win that one 76-65. Full disclosure, Jayhawks without Rafe LaFrenz, the All-American that game. He was out with a hand injury, but they still had a guy named Paul Pierce. Oh, and their head coach was a guy named Roy Williams, who doesn't look that much different here today.
Roy is not looking much different at all, and Hubert Davis says it's because he's not coaching anymore. He looks younger than he did when he stepped away from the sidelines. Hubert was teasing Roy last time we were together, talking about Hubert now, who has a little bit of a gray in his beard, how he's looking older and Roy's looking younger than he was. So, but Roy, of course, accompanying the team, still spends a lot of time watching games. I'm not sure how much practice he shows up to, but Hubert, of course, absolutely loves having Roy around, and it was, of course, Roy Williams who convinced Hubert Davis to leave television and come join them on the sidelines at the University of North Carolina.
Yeah, he was an assistant under Roy Williams at North Carolina from 2012 to 2021. Interesting talking with Hubert Davis, of course, a great player at North Carolina, played 12 seasons in the NBA, and he still has that Hooper mentality. We were asking him, you know, stopping off in Honolulu before the Maui, what do you think? He goes, let's just play ball, man. Let's just play.
It's just hooping. That's all it is, and that's absolutely a player's mentality because so many coaches have so many different things and different theories that go into doing something like this. Hubert says it's simply about playing basketball. We love to do it. Great opportunity to get it done.
Carolina by 10, shooting 50% from the floor so far. Hawaii 21%. This is Ryan Rapp, a lone returning starter. And Cody Williams, someone's got to get it up, and it's Akira Jacobs, who now has 8 points. He's 3 for 3 from the floor.
And Akira Jacobs with a great cut, recognizing a teammate in trouble.
And now we have a tie-up. Possession arrow will keep things here in the direction of the Tar Heels.
You see Jacobs with the back cut, defender losing vision. Jalen Washington not knowing where he was as Jacobs able to catch and lay it up as he saw his teammate in trouble, didn't stand waiting for the basketball, made it happen.
Jalen Washington, nice cut to the hoop.
Jay Wash with the nice hands in there, catching and finishing. One of the things that Aranganat talked about was how well the guards for North Carolina drop off the pocket passes. Great example there.
Meanwhile, Ryan Rapp able to draw the foul against Cade Tyson. Well, here's our next Sonic blockbuster. This is a good one. Duke and Kansas facing off in the Terry's Chocolate Vegas Showdown. Coverage begins Tuesday at 9 Eastern on ESPN. What do you think about that matchup?
I tell you what I think about that is look at the way Duke has challenged itself in the early season schedule. As North Carolina has. North Carolina went out to Kansas, and we see my young fella Cooper Flagg with a big performance today, 24 points, 6 boards for him on the road at McHale in Arizona, and redeeming what was an embarrassing loss a season ago for Duke at home in Cameron, going out to McHale, getting the win over Arizona, who's now lost 2 games early in the season.
Yeah, we've also seen a lot of ACC teams chalking up losses here early on. That might be the best ACC win so far this season.
No question about that. It's absolutely the best win for the ACC thus far. But the ACC as a conference has started out slow over the past 2 years and continues to get better. So again, let's keep the jury out on the ACC for them. Hawaii going to the zone. We saw them working on this in their shoot-around earlier today, being able to identify the shooters and finding a way to try to keep these North Carolina offensive players out of the paint. It worked on that possession, forcing the 3 by Drake Powell, who struggled to shoot the ball early in the season.
And that pass goes right through the hands of Tom Beatty and out of bounds. That is turnover number 4 for the Rainbow Warriors. Your thoughts on the pace here so far with 10:20 to go in the first?
Well, the pace is going to favor North Carolina because they want to get up and down. And North Carolina forces you to have to play their pace. They're going to run after makes. They're going to run after misses. Even against the zone, they don't want to wait. And you see the beautiful cut from Jalen Withers and the nice pass from Jay Wash cutting along the baseline. North Carolina's not going to spend 20, 30 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to get a shot up within that first 10.
Cody Williams trying a 3. And rattles and pops out. Somehow the rebound out to Marcus Green. Beatty open look from the corner. That doesn't go. We got a whistle underneath, and that's going to go against Jalen Washington. Was wrestling with Tanner Christensen, and a good indication there of just how tough it is to go against the big body of Tanner Christensen underneath.
It absolutely is that, and give the Rainbow Warriors credit. They've had multiple opportunities where they've come up with offensive rebounds and continue to gain extra possessions on the offensive glass.
There's Christensen. Trying to work against Washington. Under 10 to shoot. Green up and under. That goes up, in, and one.
Nice drive by Green as he's able to get downhill the pump fake and then going in between the trees of the Tar Heels, able to finish it off with the contact, and now an opportunity for an and one.
And the second foul as well on Jalen Washington. So Marcus Green to the line. Spent last season at Houston Christian where he was the team's leading scorer, 15 points a game. Hawaii actually his 4th college stop. Also played JUCO at Panola Junior College in 22-23. Spent his freshman year at Sacramento State.
And Hawaii now with 7 second chance points. Give me 8 second chance points with the free throw off of 6 offensive rebounds. So they've been beating North Carolina at their own game, even though the Heels still hold an 8-point lead.
Lubin, that was a tough turnaround over Jacobs, and he got it to go. Van Allen Lubin giving Hubert Davis some good minutes here in this first half. Green will try a 3. And a good box out there by Lubin as well. Trimble kept the pivot foot down, and Christensen able to haul in his 6th rebound already. Jacobs, that was contested.
That was a heat check. The way he's been shooting the basketball, you got to take every look you can.
Jackson with the left hand. Another board for Christensen. He's piling them up.
The Tar Heels have had a number of looks right at the rim, just unable to finish them. The only shots that they would make.
Jacobs loose underneath again.
Another great cut by Jacobs, not standing and waiting for his teammates to throw the basketball, but no recognition. And Cade Tyson's able to take advantage of it. That's how quickly North Carolina comes back, even after a made shot, still pushing it in transition.
Yeah, after a make, a dunk at the other end. There's Jacobs now with 10 points. Lone player in double figures in this game. Cross-court pass, now Beatty. Tries to go off glass, no. Christensen, the offensive board. Back up and in.
And more of the same. Now 7 offensive rebounds for the Rainbow Warriors for 10 second chance points. UNC yet to have a second chance points, and now the turnover gives the Rainbow Warriors another opportunity. Jacobs continues to find the open spot, the nice left-hand jump hook, and then an offensive rebound by Christensen as the Rainbow Warriors have dominated the glass early.
There's a look at University of Hawaii Athletics Director Craig Angeles, and a big story earlier this week as University of Hawaii President David Lassner announced that he would be terminating Craig Angeles as the AD effective December 1st. Associate Athletics Director Lois Mannon will be serving as the interim until a permanent AD is selected by incoming UH President Wendy Hensel after the new year. And the timing of that caused quite a stir as Lassner had previously announced that he would be retiring at the end of this calendar year. And you can see Craig Angeles has drummed up a fair amount of support, and you see some of the Save Craig shirts and signs here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center.
Well, you can tell that Craig is absolutely a favorite in this building right now, and with news like that coming out, how classy is that of him, of course, not only to show up, but having to lay on as well to make sure he shows his support for the Rainbow Warriors.
So we got a whistle away from the basketball. Hawaii within 8 here, 7:06 left to play in this first half. By the way, the officials here this evening, Eric Curry, AJ Desai, and Jamel Spearman. Foul goes against Van Allen Lubin. That is his second.
Now North Carolina bringing in their third 5-man, and Ty Claude getting his introduction into this game.
Another 4th program guy in his 6th year of college hoops. That was the 8th team foul for Carolina, so Hawaii also in the bonus. And Tanner Christensen able to put that one through for his 5th point. He also has 8 rebounds, 5 of those at the offensive end.
And Christensen's been a force in the middle, and that's the one area where you can attack North Carolina this year where you haven't been able to do in years past. Of course, Armando Bacot for 5 years was the man in the middle for the Tar Heels.
R.J. Davis, the teardrop.
I see. It's been a while since we worked together,
right.
but you knew.
That's right.
That's a teardrop, not a floater.
That's right.
See, you know that. Like, see, my brother.
I have been through the school of Corey Alexander here. Many a college basketball games over the years.
And Eran Gannat said that, hey, they would live with those shots. That they have to force them to take the runners, the floaters, the tough twos. They'll live with those.
And that's going to be a traveling violation called against Rapp. Take another look at the teardrop.
And you see R.J. Davis getting downhill, but recognizing the shot blocker coming over. You see the flick of the wrist. So there was not a floater. There still was a flick. Once you see that, a little bit of a flick, doesn't have to be much, but any flick of the wrist means that it takes it away from being a floater.
Because if I recall correctly, you're not the biggest fan of the floater.
No, we can tell the truth. I hate floaters.
Davis pulling up from 3, got fouled in the act, and he's going to have 3 free throws coming up.
And this is what R.J. Davis does. He gets to the free throw line. And for a guy his size, he stays in the paint, putting so much pressure on opposing teams' defenses. And now you see him getting to the three-point shot. If you're going to play drop coverage and have your defender go over the ball screen, R.J. Davis is also going to use that against you, force you to foul him pulling up a 3.
And this is an area where he is among the very best at the free throw line. Was 18 of 20 coming into this game. He is now 2 for 3 here tonight. But best career free throw percentage in Carolina history.
Yeah, right ahead of my guy, Shammond Williams. Shammond shooting 84% for his career. RJ about 86 right now. But of course, Shammond, the Tar Heel lover that he is rooting for RJ, wants him to finish his career at number 1. Shammond is fine with being number 2 because we still get a chance to talk about it.
How were you as a free throw shooter back in the day?
You know what? Not as good as I should have been. I will absolutely say that I should have been a much better free throw shooter than I was.
There's Beatty driving baseline. A little bounce pass to Christensen, who hung in the air for an extra nanosecond and got it to go off glass.
But look at the transition. North Carolina, Trimble unable to get that one to go, but you get a shot at the rim within 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Christensen finds Green cross court, blows by Davis, and then got fouled on what was the drop-off. Will shoot the bonus, though, with 5:24 left in the first.
Explosive move by Green. As soon as he caught that, he wasn't thinking shoot the 3. He was thinking put it in drive. The closeout from R.J. Davis, unable to be able to change direction, and Green attacks. The bigs get clawed. Another foul on the bigs for North Carolina.
Yeah, that's Ty Claude picking that one up. His first. And Green gets the first free throw to fall. Green now 8 of 9 from the free throw line here this young season. Gets both of them.
And you see now the Rainbow Warriors extending their pressure, trying to slow down the Tar Heels. And if there's any way to do it, it's like this. A little zone pressure, dropping back into the 2-3 zone. He's already knocked off 10 seconds on the shot clock, which is an eternity for the Heels.
There's Trimble. Under 10 to shoot on this possession. Davis gets it to Withers. That one a little long. And it bounces out to Green. Look at the ball movement here by the Rainbow Warriors. And Harry Rouliadeff with the jump hook. And it's a 5-point game.
And you can see right now that the Rainbow Warriors are not fearful at all of attacking the paint. against North Carolina. They've been able to flex their muscle on the inside.
And that gets the crowd into it. R.J. Davis trying to quiet them. Can't. The follow-up, though, will draw a whistle. Ty Claude will shoot free throws. And we'll look to try to put an end to this 6-0 Hawaii run.
Now, the North Carolina offensive rebound is what we've grown accustomed to for the past, seems to be 50 years, watching the Tar Heels. But that has been in favor of the Rainbow Warriors throughout this game. Ty Claude getting involved in the mix now. Offensive rebound opportunity to put some second chance points on the board for the Heels.
So more substitutes now on either side. Elliot Cadeau back in for North Carolina.
And to this point is a 10-0 advantage in second chance points in favor of the Rainbow Warriors. That is not something that the Tar Heels are used to ever seeing, their first second chance points of the game.
So Claude goes 1 of 2. And a little extended pressure here from R.J. Davis. Jerome Palm, transfer from Valparaiso. Tried to bounce that one to Ryan Rapp, but too much traffic.
Give North Carolina a lot of credit for putting the pressure on the passing lanes defensively, forcing another turnover.
Davis picks up the dribble. Under 4 minutes to play here in the first frame. Cadeau with the crossover move. Goes up with the left, the finish, and one. Wow.
Now, I was about to say it's been a relatively quiet first half thus far for Elliot Cadeau. However, he gets loud on this possession. The crossover to the rim, switching to the left hand, and the finish off the glass.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Elliot Cadeau put together a strong freshman campaign. ACC All-Frosh team. Last year, you see the numbers, 7 points per game, 3-point shooting, 10 for 53, and 4 assists per game. But he has taken it to another level here in this young campaign.
And in the program, they say he's a completely different person, more confident, much more so willing to talk to the media, taking on much more of a vocal role. He is truly the point guard of this team now. And again, his assist numbers have been off the charts, over 7 a game, 8 steals already on the season. So getting it done offensively and defensively as well.
Yeah, his 150 assists last season, the most by a freshman since Marcus Page at North Carolina, who had the 12-13 season.
Who happens to be sitting on the bench coaching up Elliot Cadeau. Last year was Marcus's first season as on the sidelines for University of North Carolina, who has all 6 of its coaches who have all played at their alma mater, the only team in the country.
Ruli Adef couldn't get that one to go, but he does draw the foul. What has Hawaii done effectively, you think, here, Corey, to try to keep the scoring down and try to keep the tempo down?
They played inside out. The Rainbow Warriors only shooting 28% coming into this game on the season from beyond the three-point arc.
Here's a look at the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic bracket. The championship game tips off Sunday at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. Drake and Vandy matching up there in the final.
We talk about the Rainbow Warriors, only 28% from beyond the three-point arc on the season. But still, as a team shooting over 50% from the field, that shows you how dynamic they've been on the interior. We mentioned earlier, Christensen shooting 77% from the field this year.
There's Christensen, deep touch. Draws the double. Looked like he was in front of the rim with an opportunity to go up. Eight seconds to shoot. Jacobs, little fadeaway shot. That doesn't go. The tip by Namiksha. The second one was the charm.
AKA Nemo getting in for another second chance opportunity at the rim, and that is the way that the Rainbow Warriors have found a way to stick around here in this first half against the top 10 ranked Tar Heels.
Down just 5. Cadeau for 3. That is only the 4th attempted triple in this first half for North Carolina. They've made one of them. They're averaging 9 made threes a game. Jacobs for 3. Oh, that one streamlined on him. Oh, how about the behind-the-back dribble? But Ian Jackson is rudely met at the rim. Stays in this direction, out of bounds.
I'm not sure what was more impressive. How quickly Ian Jackson got from point A to point B, or how quickly the Rainbow Warriors got back. Jacobs coming up with a big block shot there to deny Ian Jackson at the rim.
Open look here for Withers. That one doesn't go. Withers, who can shoot the 3, made 3 of them against Kansas in the 3-point loss. Hawaii just taking its time, not in any particular rush. That said, Beatty, that one somehow did not go. Davis thought about it, and they're going to call him for steps.
RJ should have gone with his first inclination, which was to shoot the 3. Walking into one wide open on a 3-on-1 break, he has the green light to shoot that. And by not shooting it, the travel, and it's a great call. A.J. Desai right there on top of it. Great call. That is a travel. One that RJ wishes he would have let that one fly.
Second turnover of this first half here for Carolina. Here's Nemo. Ryan Rapp with the strong pump fake, and that's good.
Points in the paint has belonged to the Rainbow Warriors. Now up to 16 points in the paint.
A 6-0 Hawaii run. 1 minute to play here in the first frame. Davis, the step back.
And just a little hand gesture, just a little quick shh to the crowd, even though they're not going to quiet down. All right, gets him to quiet down for a quick second.
But Tom Beatty takes Davis off the bounce.
The response from Beatty attacking RJ off the bounce.
RJ Davis now with 14 points to lead all scorers. This Hawaii zone has done the job here. Ian Jackson, though, the zone breaker from outside the arc.
And that's where he's so much improved from earlier in high school, his ability to shoot the 3.
So a last shot opportunity here for Hawaii. 4 seconds, Beatty looking up at the clock. Got to get the shot up, he does. And that's how the first 20 minutes come to a close. 41-34, North Carolina led by 14 points by RJ Davis. 10 different Tar Heel players have scored here in this one. Meanwhile, the Rainbow Warriors out-rebounding the Tar Heels 22-14 with 12 second-chance points. That'll do it for the first half here in Honolulu. After the break, we'll get you to the studio. Zuba Mahenti, Josh Pastner, and Sean Farnham. You're watching ESPN's Feast Week presented by Lowe's back here in Honolulu, Hawaii, and we got a competitive ball game here getting ready to start the second half. 10th ranked North Carolina up 7 on Hawaii, 41-34. Aloha from once again back inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center next to Corey Alexander. I'm Kanoa Leahy. And Corey, you thought the way that Hawaii could possibly offset the backcourt play of North Carolina was with their front court play, and we've seen that here through 20 minutes.
We absolutely have. Hawaii's flexed their muscle. The points in the paint has been tremendous for the Rainbow Warriors, and they've been able to attack. And it's not just the front court players, although 2 of their front court players have combined for 18 when you consider Jacobs and Christensen both getting the job done. But it's been their guards also attacking off the bounce. A 2-point advantage for the Rainbow Warriors. Points in the paint, but the 12 second chance points has been even bigger. The most that North Carolina has surrendered in a game this season, and Hawaii is able to do that in 1 half alone.
Meanwhile, RJ Davis, top scorer with 14 points, 4 of 7 from the floor. And so the Rainbow Warriors keeping themselves in this one. against a team that came in averaging 95 points per game, 5th best in all of college basketball. Second half now underway. And Tom Beatty draws a whistle as he tries to spin baseline. We saw in that first half Hawaii going to that zone defense. How much of a factor was that?
I believe it was a factor. It slowed North Carolina down a little bit. And, of course, you know, you're going to find teams that want to be able to zone UNC because they can't keep the guards out of the painted area. So it's not something new, but give Hawaii a lot of credit for executing it very well.
Playing deep into this possession. 7 seconds to shoot. Tanner Christensen, a couple of moves, and he rocks the rim.
And Christensen showing off his veteran leadership and expertise and experience in the paint. However, you can never relax against the Tar Heels because they push it back at you, makes or misses, but you see Christensen with a nice move, recognizing that Jalen Washington has 2 fouls. So they want to go at him right away, early and often, but Washington returns the favor on the other end. The nice find from Cadeau, and an opportunity for the N1.
I mean, it is amazing. You don't even have time to blink after you make a bucket. North Carolina's at the other end. And missed there, though, on the 3-point opportunity by Washington.
And that's another area where North Carolina's been great all season long, shooting over 80% in each of their first 3 games from the free throw line.
Once again, Hawaii very deliberate here offensively. Now under 10. And Christensen lost the handle. Numbers for the Tar Heels. Bounce pass, R.J. Davis, the layup is good.
Now that's what the Tar Heels didn't do as well as you normally see them in the first half. They got the turnovers, but they didn't turn them into points on the other end. You see a little more sure-handed on that pass from Trimble, and Davis is able to get the easy layup.
So 16 now for R.J. Davis. Meanwhile, double-double already for Tanner Christensen, 10 points, 10 boards. Here's Ryan Rapp loose for a 3. That draws nothing.
Great job defensively, and you see the fundamental bounce pass by Seth Trimble leads R.J. Davis right into a layup. North Carolina had a lot of opportunities in the first half. Right at the rim, they were unable to take advantage of, but get a good one, quick one here to start the second.
Cross court, this is Trimble for 3. Yes.
Ron Ganott was very impressed with the passing of Elliot Cadeau. And on that possession right there, he makes the hook pass cross court, puts it right in the shooting pocket of Seth Trimble.
Take another look at that pass there by Elliot Cadeau.
And again, the simple read, recognizing that the paint is taken away, so knowing exactly where the shooter is, and then not taking Trimble out of his rhythm, putting it right in the spot where he can catch it, lace him up, and knock it down.
And it is already a 7-0 run here for North Carolina. A little over a minute, and they wrestle the ball loose again. It's Seth Trimble. Bounce pass again, Cadeau. And you just mix and match those guards, fill in the lanes, same result.
But it's Seth Trimble once again coming up with the steal, pushing the tempo, and finding Cadeau for the easy layup. Ron Ganott has seen enough as it's a 9-0 run for the Tar Heels. And they've been getting it done with their defense, turning defense into offense. Seth Trimble, once again, great hands, coming up with the basketball, and then the beautiful feed to Elliot Cadeau for the easy bucket. The Tar Heels stretching it out to a 14-point lead.
Definitely will be celebrating the memory of Bill Walton, who passed away in May at the age of 71. As we get ready for the Maui Invitational presented by Novavax, it is another loaded field. This was a tournament that Bill Walton was so much of a staple when it came to our presentation, and he loved Maui, loved Lahaina town, And it is fitting that in the return to Lahaina after the wildfires over a year ago, tournament moved here to this building actually in Honolulu last year, that they have 4 top 10 teams, and how about a first-round matchup of top 5 teams in Auburn and Iowa State.
Yeah, and we will look forward to paying tribute to Bill Walton all next week in Maui and giving him his due flowers.
There's Tom Beatty out of the timeout. I had the incredible privilege of working alongside Bill for last year's Maui Invitational, and it was certainly a career highlight for me. And everything you imagine about him, when you meet him in person, when you work with him and alongside him, he is exactly what you think he is. He is larger than life.
No question about it. I had the fortunate pleasure, the last time North Carolina was in the Maui Invitational was actually played in Asheville, North Carolina. And so the 2 analysts on the tournament was Bill Walton and myself. And I can remember I had my COVID beard. And Bill Walton was a huge proponent. Corey, do not cut the beard. Keep the beard. Keep it going. And I can remember him just constantly talking about it. And I actually saw Bill the last time I saw him in person at the Hall of Fame induction in 2022. And the first thing he says to me is, "Where's your beard?"
Seth Trimble hits the free throws, 11-0 run here for North Carolina. I mean, that was a beard. I mean, your beard had a beard back in those days.
Well, if you'll remember in 1977 when Bill Walton led the Portland Trail Blazers to the NBA World Championship, he had a significant beard, you know, and he had the hair tied back, this, that, and other. So, of course, Walton was always a fan of the beard. And so, you know, wanted me to keep it going.
North Carolina, 11-0 run here over the last 2.5 minutes. They have ramped up the defensive pressure here. Hawaii again getting deep into the shot clock. 3 seconds to shoot. Ruli Adef for 3, and he splashes down.
And that's a welcome sign for the Rainbow Warriors. The struggles have been imminent throughout the first half. Only 2 of 14 from beyond the three-point arc.
And right back at the other end, Elliot Cadeau with the left.
There's never time to celebrate against North Carolina. You make a 3, you're excited about it, maybe things are going in your favor, and just like that, Elliot Cadeau's breaking down your defense and then taking the cookies.
Yeah, picking a pocket, and ahead it goes to Trimble for the throwdown and 1 as Cody Williams got underneath him. So Trimble will have a 3-point opportunity.
But a smart play by Cadeau because, of course, normally you want to go for the alley-oop pass, and again, great hands by Elliot Cadeau, but instead of going for the lob, he just drops it on a dime to Seth Trimble, allowing him to gather and go off 2 feet, dunking it home with the contact and an and-1 opportunity at the line.
So Trimble will now have an opportunity to get to double figures here. He's got 9. Akira Jacobs checking into the game for Hawaii. Wherever this North Carolina team goes this year, they will be led by this backcourt, which has a lot of depth. How incumbent is it on the post play to maybe continue to develop for whatever deep run might be ahead of them?
That's going to be the difference for this team. It's going to be how they develop up front. And again, it will be done by committee with Jalen Washington, of course, Jalen Withers at the 4 spot, Ben Allen Lubin and Ty Claude. Those guys at the 5 position are going to really have to come together and be able to battle against some of the bigs they're going to play this year.
Under 10 on this possession. Green trying to make something happen. Leaning into Trimble, got blocked, and Trimble able to snatch it out of the air. Drive to the basket, and he'll go to the free throw line.
I think Trimble had an opportunity early to give that one up and get it to R.J. Davis, but the longer he dribbled, he missed that opportunity. Made the right decision to take it to the rim. Have 2 free throws when we return. The high-powered backcourt of North Carolina is not only about offense, it's about their defense. Ian Jackson with the theft and the find to R.J. Davis getting out in transition. And then it's Seth Trimble dropping it off to RJ for the easy layup, but it doesn't stop there. Seth Trimble once again with the great hands. The kick ahead to Elliot Cadeau for the lay-in. 17-4 advantage for the Tar Heels, with Cadeau coming up with the pick and then finding Trimble for the finish. 17-4 advantage right now, points off turnovers for the Tar Heels, and an opportunity to turn that into 2 more here for Seth Trimble at the free throw line.
Yeah, and a 13-0 advantage in fast break points.
And that is really outdone what the Rainbow Warriors were able to do in the first half with those second chance points. Had 12 second chance points in the first half, but the Tar Heels have kind of cleaned that up here in the second half, allowing them to extend the lead to 19. Now an opportunity for 20 here with Trimble at the line.
And this is the second. Hawaii had it down to a 3-point ball game with about a minute left in that first half. North Carolina has snatched up control here, leading by now 19 as Namiksha behind the back trying to draw the tie up.
But the pressure was put on by the guards. Seth Trimble sneaking in from behind. Elliot Cadeau getting a hand in. The guards of North Carolina are getting their hands in the cookie jar. It seems to be every possession.
North Carolina with runs of 6-0, and if you want to expand it out, 17-3 here. See Hawaii with 4 turnovers in the last 4 minutes.
And you see Hawaii dropping back into the 2-3 zone, which we saw from them in the first half, that was able to slow North Carolina down a bit. I'm sure it's something that Hubert Davis adjusted to.
My goodness. They had some cruel intentions there on that lob play. It was Jalen Withers who got fouled midair.
And that's one of the areas you'll see North Carolina try to exploit the zone. Ian Jackson with the back screen. Christensen wasn't fooled. However, he still comes up with the foul as Jalen Withers is able to go to a different level on the alley-oop attempt.
And that is foul number 3 on Tanner Christensen. And the free throw no good there from Jalen Withers.
Being that it's like way past midnight on the East Coast.
How you holding up?
Hey, you took care of me earlier. My God, you got me my energy drink earlier. But would that have been a SportsCenter top 10, or will we have to wait until tomorrow?
That's a really good question.
See if we get a highlight tonight in this game and see when it actually makes it on top 10.
Would have to be grandfathered in, I think. Reach-in foul after the miss there by Green. Well, here's a look at the Myrtle Beach Invitational bracket. Got a lot of these MTEs going on in Myrtle Beach. You see the semifinals, Middle Tennessee and Bradley advancing. Championship game tips off Sunday at 5:30 Eastern on ESPN. Don't you love this time of year?
I absolutely love it, but if you're going to say MTE, you got to explain that to our viewers what an MTE actually is.
Multiple team event.
There you go. With Middle Tennessee being in the championship game, you got to say that, because it could be a Middle Tennessee event.
Well done, my friend. Ray Powell missing on the mid-ranger. Ryan Rapp. Offensive rebound there collected by Jerome Palm. And we got a whistle. 14:09 left to play here in this second half.
The challenge when you play against North Carolina, they are going to score. You think about how slowly they got off to a start. They didn't score for the first 2 minutes of game action. But just like that, it was 13-2 for the Tar Heels after making a run. They're going to score points, so it's going to be difficult to beat the Tar Heels when all you're doing is scoring in the paint. 3 made three-point field goals for Hawaii is not the recipe. Even though they've done a great job on the offensive glass, you got to make some shots from beyond the arc, because let's face it, it's going to be teams all year trying to find ways to keep the Tar Heels down with their scoring. It is virtually impossible to get done.
We have definitely seen North Carolina turning up the heat defensively here in this second half as well.
And that's one of the great things about having the depth that Hubert Davis has on his bench. You've got two McDonald's All-Americans in Ian Jackson and Drake Powell coming off the bench. So as a starter, you don't have a choice but to perform.
Nice pass underneath and the finish by Drake Powell, 6'6" freshman from Pittsboro, North Carolina.
And I love the way Ian and Drake have both come in and accepted coming off the bench and really come in and played hard with their opportunities, not pouting about not starting, not being entitled, but coming in and doing their job.
Open look here. This is Itis Namiksha, and a much-needed three. First field goal for Hawaii that goes down in about 3 minutes. R.J. Davis trying to respond. And that's going to be a whistle against Hawaii on the defensive glass. And that's the 7th team foul for the Rainbows. And that puts the Tar Heels in the 1-1 bonus. And Jalen Washington going to the line.
And of course, you know very well that I spent 7 straight Christmases in this building. Most of those hanging out with you. This is the first time that I've arrived in Honolulu at nighttime, because I'm normally greeted by a rainbow coming across the bridge when I land about 3 p.m. So I missed my rainbow coming in at 8:30 p.m. on Wednesday night.
Well, what you did get here on this trip is some of the best weather we've had in weeks here in the islands.
Oh, we got a rule. When I come here, this is the type of weather we have.
The sky's clear, right? We got a whistle on the perimeter.
There it is.
There's the rainbow you were asking for. Ask and you shall receive from our incredible production team.
Amazing. And if you're at home watching this, this is not animated. This is real. This is what it looks like here in Honolulu. These are the great scenics and the views that you get to see on a daily basis.
Yeah, not bad on a Friday late in November. Another foul is going to go against Carolina there on the drive by Marcus Green. And Ian Jackson is going to pick up his 3rd. So Carolina now with 16 fouls. Next one puts Hawaii in the bonus. Namiksha again catch and shoot. That's a couple of threes that he's now drained.
And it's down to 14. Again, we talked about you're not going to be able to keep North Carolina from scoring constantly. You got to make some threes. The zone is slowed down the Tar Heels a bit, and Nemo's knocking down back-to-back threes has helped the cause.
Trimble trying to drop it off, got deflected out. Seconds to shoot. Davis off the jab step. Too strong with it, but the offensive board, and followed by Washington.
And again, the more Jalen Washington does that, the better this North Carolina team will be. The Tar Heels have always been a team that's been great on the offensive glass. They're going to be calling on him for extra possessions.
Jacobs got it.
Speaking of calling on, Jacobs has called his number from beyond the three-point arc multiple times in this game. Now his 3rd made three-point field goal here tonight.
Well, you called for a rainbow, you got that. You called for more rainbow-made threes, and you've gotten those. And
it's a 13-point game now as the Bows continue to fight their way back into this one.
Trimble going baseline, and they're going to call the defensive foul with 11:16 left to play here in this second half. Best time of year, feast week. Gotta love it.
It's a battle of blue bloods in Las Vegas. Cooper Flagg and the Blue Devils take on Hunter Dickinson and the Jayhawks. The Terry's Chocolate Vegas Showdown. Number 12 Duke, number 1 Kansas. Tuesday on ESPN.
Well, one of several fantastic matchups on the basketball court next week. Of course, we'll be in Maui for the Maui Invitational. That field absolutely loaded, but Kansas and Duke, what do you think about the way Kansas has gotten off here this season?
Well, Kansas has gotten off to a great start behind my guy, but here's the thing, though. I look at both these young men, and I've known Hunter since he was probably in the 6th grade, Cooper since the 7th grade. Both of them this year wearing hair. They're both normally guys who wear the low buzz cut almost. And I've seen both of them and asked the same question, what's going on with the hair? And you know, the crazy part is they telling me, hey, look, I don't have a lot of time to get a haircut, but they're both trying out new styles. That's really what it is. They've got more than enough time to get haircuts. They're trying out new styles right now, but a big-time matchup. I mean, how about Duke? I mean, and Kansas. Kansas played North Carolina at home. Of course, they played the Champions Classic, and now taking on Duke in Vegas. I love the way that many of the Blue Bloods have played great schedules to start this season. We just saw Duke going to Arizona. We saw North Carolina go to Kansas. It's been great basketball early in this season in college basketball.
Trimble going 2 for 2 from the line. The lead for North Carolina back to 15. Here's Namiksha from the other side. He's got the hot hand.
Nemo is warming up, shall I say. The goal right now for the Rainbow Warriors is finding Nemo. You got to make it happen. You knew it was coming.
Meanwhile, Trimble finds a cutting R.J. Davis, who finishes on the reverse.
The adjustment against the zone for the Tar Heels, getting R.J. Davis along the baseline for the easy one.
Davis now up to 16 points. Make that 18 points for R.J. Hawaii has made 4 straight field goals, and now a foul will go against Jalen Withers. Another look at Gytis Namiksha, the transfer from Xavier, originally from Lithuania.
And you can see set play, set execution to get Nemo a look on the baseline. Eran Ganot knows where the hot hand is, and finding Nemo is priority number 1 on the offensive end for the Rainbow Warriors.
6'8", 220-pound senior. Started 20 games last year at Xavier, and he's shooting 1-1 here. Still feeling the flow here. He's got 12 points. Namiksha, kind of an interesting player. He's got that frame, long arms, big hands, doesn't mind some of the physicality, but can get going, as we have seen here in this last stretch, from the perimeter as well, and trying to keep Hawaii in the fight. Closing in on 10 minutes to play. Badeau, lob pass. The connection wasn't there, but a whistle will go against the Rainbow Warriors.
And that's a good foul. What would have otherwise been a short 2 points on the lob attempt, by getting a body in the way of Jalen Withers, sends him to the line for 1-1 in comparison to a highlight for the Heels.
Foul goes against Akira Jacobs. That's his second. And Jalen Withers now 0 for 3 from the free throw line.
I didn't want to say that part about why it was such a good foul, but I knew that Jalen had been struggling from the free throw line.
Some heavy minutes here at this midway point of the second half. Turnaround shot not there, but Namiksha in the mosh pit fighting for the rebound, but they're going to call him for the travel as he fell to his wallet.
A little contact on that one, so Nemo got some help going to the ground. But once again, the Rainbow Warriors attacking the offensive glass. Nemo getting in the mix in between 2 Tar Heels. And I'll take that back. There wasn't much contact on that one. Nemo just lost his footing on that. Had to make sure and double check that Finding Nemo was a Disney movie. As many times as I've said that, don't want to go against the grain, but it is.
Tanner Christensen checking back into the game, replacing Jerome Palm for Hawaii. Yeah, Nemo a little bit easier for the broadcasters than Gytis Namiksha.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got it down pat. Of course, you're very familiar with the Rainbow Warriors roster, as a turnover by the Tar Heels gives the Rainbow Warriors an opportunity to get this to 10, maybe even into single digits with 9 with a 3. Of course, Finding Nemo will be important to make that happen. But you also have Jacobs on the book. Those two guys have provided the firepower from beyond the arc.
Just the 3rd turnover for Carolina. Compared to 11 for Hawaii, make it 12.
And once again, Seth Trimble with great hands on the defensive end, disrupting, trying to get the basketball to Nemo there, looking for another 3.
Davis rising up. And it is Namiksha with the board. So pace getting a little bit slower here at this stage of the second half.
Yeah, and that's because the Rainbow Warriors are trying to find a way to get the basketball either inside to Christensen or to get a good look on the perimeter.
That's going to be Withers on the perimeter, and yeah, they found Nemo. They certainly did, and he's going to go to the free throw line again, and this is exactly what Eran Ganot wants to see. The clock stopped, gets his guys to the free throw line, the pace kind of slowing down a little bit.
And actually an opportunity to get the lead back to 10 here if they can take advantage and capitalize on both free throws. Of course, the Tar Heels stretch the league out to as much as 20 here in this second half. So give the Rainbow Warriors a lot of credit for cutting back into it, but when you miss those free throws, especially at this stage of the game, that costs you in a number of different ways.
Behind the back dribble, Cadeau, wow, finishing with the left.
That's just a great individual play by Elliot Cadeau, one-on-one, takes his guys, you mentioned the great behind the back, and then the finish at the rim, adjusting to the left hand and the soft touch off the glass.
We're gonna have a whistle, looks like away from the basketball. That's gonna go against Cade Tyson. That's the 9th team foul for North Carolina. So once again, Gytis Namiksha to the free throw line. So as it turns out, so far, good test here in the islands for Hubert Davis and his crew as they try to sharpen things up a little bit just a few days out from the Maui Invitational.
Absolutely is. And Hubert Davis told us yesterday was kind of a tough practice for his guys. They traveled in on Wednesday, practiced Thursday, and it was a little tough trying to get adjusted to the time, etc. I personally believe that this gives the Tar Heels an advantage going into the Maui Invitational, basically being that they're here on the islands, even though we'll jump over to Maui tomorrow. But being here, getting a little more acclimated before the other teams do, I think gives them an advantage. And of course, the last 3 times that the Tar Heels have played in the Maui Invitational here on the islands, they've walked away winners.
Get it into Christensen. He's been quiet here in the second half, drawing a lot of attention. But it's going to be a foul along the sideline against North Carolina. Jalen Washington befuddled.
Elliot Cadeau, individual play, one-on-one. He is hard to guard, and he is showing it off here in the beautiful island of Oahu.
Well, North Carolina has come a long way from Chapel Hill out to Honolulu, Hawaii, 4,761 miles. Tack on almost 80 more to get to Lahaina. And look at all the teams with the combined travel in this remarkable field. And those are the teams that have Maui Invitational titles under their belt. North Carolina with 4 of them. And here's the second straight season for the Maui Invitational with 4 top 10 teams in the AP rankings. You got the 2-time defending national champs UConn, plus Auburn, Iowa State, and North Carolina. And North Carolina making their 9th Maui appearance, most outside Chaminade, which for the longest time was the de facto host of the tournament, now on an every other year rotation. And still the sentiment, Maui strong, carrying so much meaning here in the state of Hawaii, as everyone has rallied behind all of our friends over there in Lahaina town as they continue to rebuild since the devastating wildfires of over a year ago.
And if I'm correct, I remember you're bi-islander. You live in both Maui and Honolulu, correct?
Tanner Christensen missing the 3. Yeah, that's kind of true.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was making sure. I mean, you got places everywhere.
Well, I mean, hey, you know what's better than living on one island in Hawaii?
Living on 2.
There you go.
I get it.
Here's R.J. Davis on the drive. Tyson leaning in. And a whistle-heavy second half continues here as Cade Tyson will earn his way to the line.
Strong take by Cade Tyson, getting downhill, though, using that strong upper body, getting to the rim. Cade Tyson continues to find his way at Carolina, transferring in with 2 years of eligibility, playing at Belmont. Of course, the younger brother of All-ACC performer Hunter Tyson, who's now with the Denver Nuggets organization.
Former Clemson Tiger. Here's a little more on Cade Tyson. Last season, 47% three-point field goal percentage, second in Division I. He can fill it up from outside. But yeah, when you talk about sort of finding your way, is it just finding his role? How would you describe it?
Well, you're playing against different competition. Let's start with that again. When you're North Carolina and you're going to Kansas, playing at Kansas at Fog Allen Fieldhouse, you're talking about a different level of competition than what he's seen at Belmont. And it takes a while to get used to that. And of course, in a different role. Before, he was kind of the guy. Now he's just one of the guys.
Well, this guy has been good in his 2 years with North Carolina. Elliot Cadeau, and just getting better. Strong take.
He's closer to the guy.
Yeah.
They have a guy. Their guy wears number 4, but 3, that's about as close as you can get, especially on the roster.
Maybe one notch below the guy position. Elliot Cadeau has been absolutely phenomenal. You talked about the strategy, perhaps, and this wasn't a game that Hubert Davis as head coach scheduled. It was scheduled all the way back in 2016 after that meeting. They were supposed to meet in 2020, but the pandemic messed that up, as you see Elliot Cadeau in transition. But Hubert Davis taking advantage of this. You mentioned that there should be a benefit because of their ability to adjust to the time change, and they get a game in, and as it turns out, it's been a pretty, at least for a good portion of this one, competitive game.
It's a competitive game, and you start this game at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. So right now, I mean, again, 2 days to get acclimated, to get adjusted is not enough. I can tell you from experience, right now, it's like 2 a.m. at home. So if you imagine playing basketball at that time, these guys, their body clock is really on 2 a.m. But they get an opportunity to kind of get that out of the way against a very competitive Hawaii Rainbow Warriors team. And now, as they move over to Maui, they're much more acclimated to the time change, to the environment, than will be the 7 other teams participating in the Maui Invitation.
Yeah, 3 of the aforementioned 4 top 10 ranked teams are on the North Carolina side of the bracket themselves, obviously, and Auburn and Iowa State. North Carolina will tip things off against Dayton as the last game on day 1 on Monday.
And Dayton, who does also have a Maui Invitational title with Obi Toppin a few years back, coming over and having a strong performance under Coach Anthony Grant. So they have experience and success on the island.
Hawaii with no made field goals in now over 5 minutes. Meanwhile, Elliot Cadeau continuing to go to work. He is 7 for 8 from the field with 15 points.
And for the record, in the second half, he's been the guy.
The pull up there by Ryan Rapp off the mark. And Miksha, another crack at it here for Hawaii. And it'll be a reach-in foul against Trimble.
And this is the advantage that Hubert Davis has now. It doesn't have to be a huge R.J. Davis night every night because you've got guys like Elliot Cadeau that can go from point A to point B and explode at the rim, be able to finish. We've seen him finish with the left hand multiple times throughout this game. Also have to remember, Elliot Cadeau reclassed up. He skipped his senior year of high school to come to North Carolina last year. He came in very quiet, you know, really kind of behind the scenes, was put into the starting lineup about after 5 games and became the de facto point guard. But now you can see he's taking that next step of becoming the true leader of this team on the offensive end of the floor.
That was the first Tar Heel ACC All-Freshman team selection since Caleb Love and Day'Ron Sharpe back in 2021. Here is the guy kicking it to Tyson. Can't hit the 3. Good look there for Cade Tyson. But it's going to be a foul on Hawaii underneath.
And Jalen Washington putting the pressure on the Rainbow Warriors on the offensive glass. As the officials are going to go over and look at this one on the monitor for a potential hook and hold.
And then the officiating crew, Eric Curry, A.J. Desai, and Jamel Spearman. So, yeah, they'll take a look at what transpired underneath the glass there. It was Ryan Rapp, who was the Hawaii guy in the wrestling match.
I believe that's going to be, is it?
Jalen Washington, and yeah, it looked like at least at the tail end there, the arms were mixed up.
This look right here, so you see Washington going for it. Christensen is in the mix, but it's Rapp with the right arm clamped down, not allowing, that's a great angle right there, not allowing Jalen Washington to be able to jump after that rebound. And A.J. Desai right on the baseline has a great look at that, wants to be able to go over and see it again. But that is pretty much a classic example of a hook and hold.
Ryan Rapp, the lone returning starter in his 3rd year with Hawaii. He spent 3 years prior at Washington State. And yeah, I'm in agreement with you. That looks pretty textbook there.
Yeah, I believe that will be on the instructional videos for what to look for with a hook and hold. And you see Rapp pretty much get in there and hook that arm down to try to keep Jalen Washington from coming up with another offensive rebound.
A long discussion here among the officials after taking a look at the replays. And Eric Curry going to come over and fill us in. So the hook and hold confirmed, flagrant foul, which will result in 2 free throws and the ball.
And the ball. So I believe that will actually be on the instructional videos moving forward for the classic hook and hold. And again, as Rapp continues to have the conversation with A.J. Desai, there's not much of an argument on this one.
So a little over 5 minutes left, and it's Jalen Washington standing by himself attempting the foul shots, and he gets the first to go.
But he still dapped up his imaginary teammates on the line, though. Yeah, so again, I mean, you know, he made the free throw, made sure to dap up, because you don't want to break routine.
No.
You know, after you make a free throw, you got to dap up your teammates. Do it again, Jay Wash. Oh, he doesn't do it on that one.
Let's take another look here.
There you go.
Good catch by you.
Boom. Dap him up, Jay Wash. Boom, boom. Got to make sure you get your imaginary teammates. And you saw he got the 2 behind him as well. It wasn't just the teammates in front. He got the 2 from behind.
Tyson going back back over the left shoulder. That was a nifty move.
And this is what Hubert Davis wants to see of Cade Tyson. He wants to see him a little more aggressive. And you see him attacking the basket. We've seen now him driving it to the rim multiple times. That helps you make the three.
Marcus Green making a three.
Now, the Rainbow Warriors have been much better from beyond the arc here in this second half. Of course, North Carolina has limited their second chance opportunities as well as the points in the paint. But they have helped themselves from beyond the arc.
That was the first made field goal for Hawaii in over 6 minutes. Meanwhile, Elliot Cadeau just continues to do Elliot Cadeau things, and he earns his way to the free throw line, just breaking down the defense. How would you evaluate and describe the game of Elliot Cadeau?
Well, one, he's elite at getting to his spots. I mean, he showed you his ability to be able to break down an individual defender. And one of the things that Eran Ganot talked about with playing against North Carolina was getting back and building the wall. But he made it very clear, even though you build the wall, these guards will still test your wall. They'll try to get through it. And we've seen Elliot Cadeau do that a number of times. And so even though you're trying to play in gaps and keep them out of the paint, it's still much more difficult to do than to say.
And so North Carolina rebuilds the lead out to 20 points. Now under 10 to shoot. Ryan Rapp putting it on the deck, and it's going to be a defensive foul against Cade Tyson.
Now we have to remember to look back. It was an opportunity for the Rainbow Warriors to make it a 10-point game at the free throw line. Missed the front end of a 1-and-1, and just like that, the Tar Heels expand the lead back to 20. When you have the opportunities, you have to take advantage of them, especially against a team like North Carolina, who didn't score for the first 2 minutes of this game. But here we are with 4:10 remaining, now have 80 points on the board. This is a team that averages 95.3 points per game coming in. And please believe, over the next 4:10 of this remaining, they are not going to slow down.
And we have also seen Tanner Christensen quieted for the most part in this second half. At halftime, he had 8 points and 9 rebounds. He is currently on the bench, and he has accumulated 10 points and 10 boards. Trimble, too strong. And the rebound collected by Green. Here's Hawaii the other way. Under 4 minutes to play. Green, the riser, gets the friendly bounce.
Green has had some impressive possessions throughout this game, something you can build on for the Rainbow Warriors. Once again, you can do it against this level of competition against North Carolina. You can do it against anybody, especially the competition that you'll see in the Big West.
He gets his hand on that pass, too. It goes out of bounds. 10 points, 4 assists for Marcus Green. 80-64, North Carolina on top. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement.
We knew it would be about the backcourt of the Tar Heels, and they have provided the spark. Getting out in transition, finding the three-point line. R.J. Davis knocking it down. Seth Trimble raising up in the mid-range, getting a bucket on the underneath out-of-bounds play, and then a bucket out in transition with the two-hand slam. And, of course, Elliot Cadeau has taken over the second half with his scoring, with his playmaking, and his finishing. In transition, the backcourt has exploded here, just like the old Volcanoes used to do, my friend.
You see the triumvirate there. R.J. Davis, Elliot Cadeau, and Seth Trimble. And they've been getting to the rim. Plus, the bigs have been a little bit more active here in the second half. Hawaii had an advantage in points in the paint at halftime, 20-18. North Carolina has outscored Hawaii in the paint after the intermission, 24-2.
And I guess volcanoes don't explode, they erupt.
Yeah, I think we all knew what you meant there.
Yeah, but still, you got to say it the right way. Remember, I'm partially Hawaii.
You are.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I've got to make sure that I, have the proper vernacular.
Oh, you became an adopted son long ago, my friend.
Yes. Of course, Eran Ganot gave me a hard time, you know, when I went to shoot around today. He was like, well, so you just give up on us? You ditch us? You know. First he told me welcome back home. But.
Yeah, he even said that he would change the channel when he would see a game that you were working.
Was a little bothered watching me on TV, and I wasn't coming back.
Small missing the jump hook there. And now Washington will try a three.
And he can do that, but is yet to make one this season. Now 0 for 3 from beyond the three-point arc, but has the ability to shoot it.
But gets his hand in the passing lane there. Davis off the hezzy. Too strong off the glass. Gets his own board, but couldn't hang on to it. And Hawaii controls. Beatty, the riser. Nice Beatty from New Zealand.
Nice play by Beatty right there, recognizing that he had the advantage.
Tyson. That is a splash from the corner.
Remember, we talked about Cade Tyson attacking the basket, getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line. That's going to make him more confident from beyond the three-point arc, and you see him get an opportunity in transition, is able to knock it down. Once again, a great kick ahead from Elliot Cadeau, and a confident look from Cade Tyson as he buries the three from the corner.
Well, here's a look at the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic bracket. Take a look at the championship game matchup. That is going to be tipping off on Sunday at 8 Eastern on ESPN, 8:30 Eastern. Drake and Vanderbilt. Again on ESPN.
8:30 Eastern. So early.
I know.
Imagine that. This game tipped at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time. And let me tell you the amazing part. Not only is North Carolina from, of course, the Eastern Standard Time zone, but me as well. I'm still awake.
Yeah. So this sort of stopover in Honolulu for North Carolina, it benefits you. It benefits many in our production crew as well. Gave you guys a chance to also get a little more adjusted here.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, again, you know, I made the deal with our bosses. You know, Meg Aronowitz, David Slicer, my guy Matt Leach, who made the trip as well. My deal was I got to get another game. I'm like North Carolina right now. I can't just come over for, you know, 4 to 5 days a Maui. I got to come visit my brother, and you know what I'm saying, on Oahu. I got to get here. Of course, I got to come see Eran Ganot. Got to see my family here in Honolulu. And then I can make the trip over to Maui.
Yeah.
So I appreciate our bosses, you know, kind of making this happen for me. You know, and again, the rest of our production crew, they're just kind of a throw-in when it comes to this. This was really all about me.
I mean, we would not have thought any other way there. Yeah,
exactly. You've known me long enough.
That's right. Exactly.
You know me long enough to understand that.
Exactly.
But I appreciate all you guys tagging along to make this happen.
The master negotiator, Corey Alexander. We look ahead next week to Maui, and as mentioned, it is a stacked field once again. How do you see things possibly playing out? What are you going to be most looking for?
I am looking forward to the top 5 matchup that we're going to see Iowa State Auburn on day 1. And then, of course, we'll see, you know, the winner of the North Carolina Dayton team have to take on one of those two teams in the semifinals.
Jerome Palm too strong with it. And the rebound off to Ian Jackson. Civic Center next week.
And of course, I talked about our side of the bracket, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
you also have the
Showman and Billis, they'll be over there with UConn.
They got the 2-time defending national champ.
Yeah.
They got Michigan State.
Yeah, they got a consolation prize. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Great matchups throughout the entire.
Oh, man, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a great time.
And it's just different. I mean, it was wonderful here at the Stan Sheriff Center last year. Obviously, out of necessity, it had to be held in Honolulu. But there is nothing like the Maui Invitational being played in the intimate confines of Lahaina Civic Center.
Absolutely. And one of the things that's so different about Maui in comparison to most MTEs, there's no day break in the middle. It's 3 straight days of basketball. So you're playing Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, where most MTEs, you'll play 2 days, have a day off in the middle, and then finish on the 4th day. So it's very similar to the conference tournaments that many of these teams will be in the championship game of later in the season.
And a foul there on the drive by Ian Jackson. Some reserves now on the floor for Hawaii. Foul called against A.J. Economo, redshirt freshman out of Santa Monica, California. Also out there for the first time this season for Hawaii, Osahan Obasohan, who hails from Belgium, sophomore, who was working on his NCAA eligibility the first couple of games out this season.
I was going to let you pronounce that name.
I was more than happy to take that one from you. Aaron Hunkin-Clater, also freshman out of Wahiawa here on the island of Oahu. Trying to get it out to Ruliadef. And Ruliadef with the bucket. So North Carolina looking to improve to 3-1 as they get ready to head over to Maui.
And a great test playing against the Rainbow Warriors here. A true road game for the Tar Heels. And Hawaii gave them everything that they wanted early in this one.
The takeaway, and Obasohan lost his footing but gets fouled, and they're going to send him to the free throw line to shoot two. Well, he's making his debut, so we got a little bit ahead of himself, a little out over his skis.
Let's call it happy feet. On the break, got bailed out because Ian Jackson was chasing it down in the unorthodox style. Forced the foul.
So Osahan Obasohan, from Belgium of Nigerian descent. Osahan translates to "God, you answered my prayers."
I love it. I think he should just change his name to that. I like that.
Just the one name?
Yes.
Yeah.
God, you answer my prayers.
Oh.
I like that. That's the one I'm going with.
Do the translation.
Yes.
So Carolina in no particular rush here. Shot clock and game clock about even.
I believe they will take the shot clock violation here.
And so a strong crowd here in Honolulu as Jackson takes it to the hoop for good measure.
And Hubert Davis gave him the okay to take the shot and not take the violation.
Oh, Obasohan almost with another answered prayer there from midcourt, but that is how this game comes to a close. 80-plus points in the first 4 games this season for North Carolina. First time since 21-22 when they reached the NCAA title game. Final score, Carolina 87-69. For Corey Alexander, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Join us Monday when we kick off the Maui Invitational presented by Novavax. For now, aloha from Honolulu.